here, and I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Now today we have our 5 tips for Utooni, and hopefully these will help new players, veteran players, and maybe PC players who are looking to get into the game or looking to get into Utooni. And as always, if there are any tips not in this video that you feel like should be in the list, be sure to comment down below, as I would like to benefit from it and anyone else in the community if they are looking for more tips. But before we get into it, if you would like to join the Patreon or Discord, the links are in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, this content, and all things Star Wars related, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the video. Okay, so 5 tips for Utooni. As always, we're going to go with number 1 first, which is keep weapon switching as often as you can to keep the damage boost up. So I think 25 Utooni, it's like when you weapon switch, you get your damage boost for like 2 seconds. So in theory, what you want to be doing is you weapon switch, you get your damage boost for 2 seconds, shoot enemies for 2 seconds, and then just before it's about to expire, if you were using close range and then you're still in close range, I weapon switch and then weapon switch back again to close range, and then you get your two seconds of damage boost up again. Because weapon switching, there is no cooldown on it. You can switch as often as you want. You just have to have that deal with the little animation. So it's up to you if you want to use it for the first 2 seconds of the fight, but I think it's best to weapon switch mid-fight just to get your damage boost up still. Then tip number 2 is use the hands-off ability as a finisher or to knock enemies off the edge of the map. So yes, it's a really good finisher because it's just, I've used up my shooting, I've reloaded, the enemies are one shot and they're about to run away or jump away with Reeve. If you use your hands-off ability, boom, a load of damage in just one go, and it also knocks you back, knocks enemies back. So it's really good at knocking enemies off the edge of the map, especially on Vader's castle when on the thin walkways. So yeah, I always use it at the end of the fight as a finisher rather than as mid-fight or as an opener. Then tip number 3 is imploder ability is perfect to stop enemies from running away. So try to use it mid-fight rather than as an opener. Now you can use it as an opener because it's a good way to initiate the fight. You group up all the enemies together, then you run in with your damage boost on your weapon, you shoot them for a bit, and then they get to half health, and then you use your ability to finish them off. But it's also really good at the end of the fight or in the middle of a fight, because if you just run in and started dealing damage and you know you're against a Reeve and an Aratol who can quickly get away, if you use your imploder ability in the middle of the fight, once you've got them to half health and they're panicking, there's no way for them to escape, and you're most likely going to kill them 9 times out of 10 at that point. So always try to think ahead. Always be 2 steps ahead with Utooni. Like, do you want to use it at the beginning of the fight, or do you want to use it mid-fight when maybe they're already engaged with enemies, with your teammates, and you just want to sneak your way in, then use your imploder after? It's always best just to strategize with Utooni. Then tip number 4 is when you use their ultimate, it has an animation before you use it, so use it before you walk around corners. So yes, Utooni's ultimate is the only one where it has like a really long animation to get it out. So essentially you press it and then they build like this little machine, like this mini Death Star, and then they start firing. It's not an instant you press it and then you shoot. So if I see a clump of enemies around the corner, I go behind the corner, pop out my ultimate, start shooting the wall, and then I reveal myself. So then I don't walk around the corner getting an animation and then they can just freely shoot me because I'm just stationary at that point. So yeah, always use it before you walk around the corner to get the maximum damage out there and not to be as vulnerable. And then tip number 5 is to walk into fights with the opposite ranged weapon. So when you switch to the correct one, you get the damage boost at the beginning of the fight. So what I like to do is, if I'm about to run into a close quarters fight, I run in with my long range weapon. Then as soon as I get to the enemies, I switch to the close range weapon, and then vice versa. If I'm at the start of the match and we've just spawned, or I've just respawned after dying, I always start with my close range weapon out, and then as soon as I see an enemy, I switch to my long range, so then that has the extra damage before, because most likely the enemies are going to be far away. So I always try to think ahead on what weapon I want to be using whilst I'm just running around, not in a fight. And there you go. There are my 5 tips for Utooni. With Utooni, it's a lot of thinking ahead, being two steps ahead. Utooni is definitely the chess player of the hunters, but yes, hopefully these tips are helpful for new players, veteran players, PC players, and anyone who just wants to know. And as always, if there are any tips in that aren't on this list that you think would be viable on the list, let me know in the comments below, as it would help either me or someone else out in the community. But I won't keep you any longer, so if you would like to join the Patreon or Discord, the links are in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, this content, and all things Star Wars related, be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.